Welcome back for another edition of We Won, Let's Eat, the Jewish Food Podcast. Joined, as always, by Matt Erickson and Bradley Machov. I'm Lonnie Goldsmith. Later on in the show, I'll be talking to Zehorit Heilicher, food blogger and culinary instructor around town here in the Twin Cities. But first, Matt, Brad, how are you guys?
Good.
This is our namesake episode.
This is
Yeah.
Hanukkah.
We won, let's eat.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from.
And then just gets applied to everything else.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Well, you can pretty much apply it to anything else.
That's true. It does get applied to anything
Yeah.
else. And for ease of explaining Jewish holidays to non-Jews, that's often the most simple way to do so.
Yeah.
They try to kill us, we won, let's eat.
Yeah.
So this is our namesake episode, though. And, you know, we talked a lot about this on the first episode when we discussed, you know, our favorite holiday foods was, you know, we kept coming back to latkes a lot, I feel like. And that's, I mean, to me, that's the staple food.
For Hanukkah.
For Hanukkah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
no doubt.
Is there, do you have a location preference here in the Twin Cities?
In my kitchen.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
No, same. I mean, mine too.
Yeah. In the Twin Cities, I haven't had a good... I haven't had a great latke at a restaurant. I think there's just something about homemade, frying them up yourself.
Yeah, I also don't mind the frozen latkes. Like, you know, you can buy store-brand frozen latkes and, like, fry them up or put them in the oven. And, like, they're not as good as homemade by any means. But, like, honestly,
Matt, you look so sad right now.
I think they're better than most restaurants I've had.
It's just making me think of our youth group days and running the pancake latke breakfast.
Yeah,
at
those were
Bench
good.
They were not good, Brad.
Yeah, they
not
were.
good, Bradley. No.
Well, I ate a bunch of them.
I ate a lot of them. Too.
Doesn't mean they were
Yeah.
good.
But they were not good. No.
So a couple of years
They were
ago,
fine.
for TCG Folk, we did a latke week. It's easy content. I went around to a bunch of restaurants and tried their latkes, and the best ones that I had were the Trader Joe's frozen ones. Those were second best. The best ones were from Saint Dinette.
Oh, we've had those.
Yeah.
They were good.
I can't really remember, but
Yeah.
I buy it.
It was years ago.
I think, especially in comparison, I mean, they were thicker. It was well cooked all the way through, good crunch. It was not like the sort of paper thin, plate sized ones that a lot of places have.
I mean, Adam Eaton knows how to cook Jewish food.
Yes, he does.
So
And food in general.
yeah,
Yes.
and food in general.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I it's been too long to remember what they
We
taste
also
like,
ate
but I buy it.
so much when we were there
Yeah.
that
Yeah, no, it gets lost. I interviewed him and then stayed for the latkes, and then he gave
Sure.
me the recipe, and it was
Cool.
amazing.
I bet.
It was
Trader
phenomenal.
Joe's frozen ones. I haven't had
They're
them.
good. They're better than the golden ones.
This is
Am I
what
allowed
I'm
to say that?
This is what I'm saying.
Am I allowed to say that? Like,
I
are we allowed to
think we
trash a
might
brand?
need to do a frozen latke challenge as
Okay.
a follow-up to this.
This is what I'm saying.
We'll have to try
Frozen
them.
latkes are good.
No, Brad, they're good enough. They're good enough.
If you want quick, you want easy, then fine.
Yeah.
But you put the work in, then
Yeah.
homemade is the way to go.
My mom always made some and then froze a whole bunch. I would take them back from break for college. It was great.
They hold up on reheat.
Just like the other frozen ones, yeah.
I feel like I've had your mom's frozen latkes.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to you refry them. You
Yeah.
just put them in the oven because
Right.
they get dried out. But if you refry them, it's just extra crunchy.
Yeah.
And more oil. I mean, more oil is good.
Yeah, right. Extra miracles.
That's So the biggest issue with us getting frozen ones is that my wife has an onion allergy.
Oh.
That's like half of latkes.
Right.
Oh, that's
So,
a bummer.
Which is why I have to make them and then dump. It's just like real onion of any color, but then like dried onion like pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But onion powder is fine.
Oh.
So just a whole lot of onion powder goes in to compensate, and they work.
That's like
I'm sure
one
it
of the
tastes fine.
4 or 5 ingredients that you have to remove.
Yes. I mean, when you're taking out 20% of the ingredients, it's tough, but they hold up. The other thing that we do to cook them is we pour a bunch of oil on cookie sheets. So basically we oven fry them
Okay.
Mm.
and put them in the oven and let them get hot, and then put the latkes on. So they're still fried, they're still oil, but you don't have the splatter and the burn smell for
Interesting.
weeks.
You don't have that lovely oil smell from 2 hours of frying?
I
Come
get that
on.
it's a feature, not a bug, generally speaking, but
This is why we fry them at my parents' house.
right, because you don't want that in your house.
And then you light about a dozen candles and
right.
hope that it helps.
Also, to the no onion point, like, it really, at the end of the day, is just potatoes fried in oil. Like, that's not going to be bad even without onions.
No,
No, not at all.
Yeah,
no, they're still terrific.
yeah.
Now, the I think staple debate
Uh-huh.
of Hanukkah, and you both know where this is going.
Uh-huh.
Applesauce, sour cream, some other random.
There's no other
Okay.
choice.
I put
Stop.
ketchup on my latkes.
All right, you have to leave now.
That is the biggest goy thing I have ever heard.
Okay,
So,
so applesauce, sour cream, both.
Uh,
Neither.
you've been banished. This is how you got kicked off the podcast.
I prefer applesauce, but I certainly don't mind sour cream. Last time I had latkes was just randomly not around Hanukkah. It was just like a few weeks ago, actually. And we just realized we didn't have applesauce. And so we're like, sour cream it is. And they were great. But if I'm going to choose, it's just applesauce.
Okay.
Sour cream, all the way. I'm not 7.
Neither am I, but I still like applesauce.
I think so. I like it. I like the applesauce. It's fine, but the sour cream just is better
Yeah.
for me.
I agree.
Yeah,
Sour
I'm
cream?
not I love apples. Apples might.
Oh.
We talked about this restaurant.
You don't like cooked apples,
I
right?
don't like cooked, and so it's a texture thing with the
Yeah.
applesauce for me.
So wait, so neither of you are applesauce fans?
No.
I have no problem with applesauce.
Okay.
But like I don't.
You're kind of like
Love
me,
it.
but reversed. Like,
yeah.
you prefer
I'll
sour
eat either
cream.
One,
Yeah.
but I definitely prefer sour cream.
yeah, that's fair.
And this was one of the less contentious things, I think.
No, I think so.
Well, again,
I
sour
thought that-
Unless you
cream-
bring ketchup into this.
Sour cream is only like a step away from aioli, and like you eat fries with aioli, so
What else do you eat fries with, Bradley?
ketchup.
Yeah, but you don't eat latkes with them.
I don't know. It's probably pretty good.
I think my dad's.
To be honest, I've never had latkes with ketchup,
You're just trying to start
You're just
something.
pressing
Yeah.
buttons here. You knew it'd get me riled
but
up.
I think it'd be good. Again,
Of course it
it's
would.
just
It's
fried
fried.
potatoes.
It's fried potatoes.
Yeah,
So the one of the things that I remember writing about.
I'm gonna have next time I have a latke, I'm gonna put ketchup on it and send you a picture.
I figured you would send me a video of you dunking it.
Uh huh.
and then eating
Oh,
it.
that's even
Yeah.
better. A video.
Great. It's gonna
check
be
our Instagram. We'll share that video.
It's gonna
we'll
be
need to
a
have
red
some-
circle with a line through it. Wrong.
We'll have to have somebody take a video of Matt like passing out from the shock of it.
Breaking my phone.
That's right.
Yeah.
The one thing that I found really interesting wasn't just how good Adam Eaton's latke was, but it wasn't applesauce and sour cream that it was served with. It was sort of a twist on it. It was apple butter
Yeah.
and creme fraiche.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I remember
I'm
that.
thinking like I get what he's trying to do, but I just want the classic.
I was actually okay with the twist on it
Yeah.
because I just thought it was really good. I
It
thought
was
it was
good.
really different.
Yeah.
I thought it was something new. It sort of innovated a classic a little
Yeah,
bit.
I don't know how I feel about it because it's not, to a certain degree you just want it to be classic, right?
Right. It's not like it needed innovating.
Yeah.
But it was still pretty. It was an interesting attempt at it. I thought it was
and
still
it's
pretty good.
Not something you're going to roll out at Hanukkah, but year round when you're going to a restaurant and ordering latkes. I get that. Like chefing it up a bit is
Yeah.
more fun, a little more interesting.
And at a place like that and a chef like that, that's
yeah, you trust him.
kind of what you expect.
Yeah.
Disappointingly, it was not the same latke at Maven.
I never had Maven's latkes.
Oh, I had Maven's latkes.
It was, yeah, I'm with you. Sort of,
Again, it's still like
It was.
I haven't
it
had a
was
bad.
fine.
I shouldn't
I've
say
had
that.
a bad
I've had a bad latke.
If they're soggy, they're bad.
Generally speaking, it takes a lot to make a latke bad.
Can something be soggy but not crispy at the same time?
Yeah.
Because I've had a couple in town here where they weren't soggy. They weren't like dripping from grease. They just weren't.
They weren't crispy. Like,
no
they look
crisp.
brown and everything. Like,
There was no crunch to it.
Yeah. That's probably because they were reheated in a
Yeah.
way that was
Yeah.
not the right way to do it.
I'm not going to name the places that do that, though. I won't do that.
Don't microwave your latkes.
No.
It's just not okay.
And I would be remiss, and not that it was really even a debate, but there's a song by the group Applesauce versus Sour Cream.
Really?
They did a
Of
whole
course, that's coming up.
the Levies, which is a member
Oh.
of the lead singer of Guster. It's a whole CD of Jewish songs.
Yeah.
And one of them is Applesauce versus Sour Cream.
Which one won in the song?
I don't know, but as they say, if you're lactose intolerant, take a pill. Which,
Most of our people
which I do.
tend to need
yes.
to take that pill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other staple food, of course, sufganiyot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love donuts. I don't want a jelly donut. So the whole idea of sufganiyot is sort of lost on me, personally. But
I think the amount of sufganiyot I've eaten in my life, I could count on one hand.
okay.
I've never been a jelly-filled kind of donut guy. I've never really been a big dessert guy in general. So, like, when I eat donuts, I eat relatively plain donuts. And so you put fancy stuff on there, and I'm just not interested.
Jelly donut's not what I would normally grab, but I really enjoy it for Hanukkah, and they're easy to make. Like, surprisingly easy to make.
Yeah?
Really?
Yeah. Frying up donuts is not all that hard, and then you just get one of the little injector things, and it.
You just fill up like a stock pot of oil?
Yeah, we literally use like our big Dutch oven thing
Right.
and
Yeah.
heat it up to the right temp and start throwing them in.
Have you had good ones in town? Because I kind of like this year. I want to go get one and eat one and try it because it's been years.
Honestly, since we've made them at home, and we didn't really grow up doing sufganiyot. Like, it wasn't a big thing, but my wife being Israeli wanted sufganiyot, and now that she doesn't do gluten, it'll be real interesting.
Huh.
That's a
she'll
new addition to
she'll
your...
probably just break it and eat the sufganiyot.
Yeah.
But Bogart's makes real good ones.
Yeah?
I think they take special orders and stuff because people will order
Okay.
dozens and dozens of them. I brought a bunch into my office last year since it's right by the donut shop, and all the non-Jews in the office, because that's everybody else, really enjoyed them.
Great.
So
Yeah, it's the jelly donut for me is, I don't know. I get that it's tradition and
yeah,
whatever, but still not my jam. But literally, see, no.
Hey.
we're a little slow on the tape.
Yeah.
Guys. Woo!
Yeah, bad.
It's nap time for all of us.
Bad
apparently.
joke. Bad joke. Any other Hanukkah food traditions in your respective celebrations of the holiday?
It's kind of become tradition. We do a huge family Hanukkah party every year. My parents host it, so there's 20 some odd people, and we fry up all the latkes the morning of, so the house really stinks.
Oh, that's
But you don't want the old latkes, so they're all fresh.
yeah.
But it'll literally be me, Kate, my brother, my parents doing everything from scratch.
Wow.
From the jump. And my dad got all mad when we brought a food processor into it to do the shredding instead of grating all the stuff by hand. Took him a little while to modernize his process.
Really?
But I think he's on board now because it saves hours.
Oh,
Yeah.
hours.
yeah.
Lifesaver.
Yeah.
The
For the
food
onions,
processor.
too. It
Yeah.
just helps your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we fry them all up fresh. I don't even try to count. We've got like 4 pans going on the stove at once.
Oh, it's the whole stove there, right? Basically.
It's the whole stove. We literally have one pan that we just bring out every year for Hanukkah. It's just our latke pan.
Just a giant
Yeah,
pan.
it's huge. I have no use for it, and it's a non-stick one. We don't usually use non-stick, so
Right.
but with this,
Helps a little bit.
It's like a weird cast iron where it retains the flavor of latkes.
we do
and
use some
just
cast
latkes.
irons. We do use a couple cast iron ones to do it.
Wow.
No, it's kind of fun. Despite the smell and getting covered in grease,
Yeah.
I don't know. Everybody gets together. We spend the whole morning and knock them all out.
We don't really, as far as I can remember, we don't necessarily have any other Hanukkah food traditions, but it's also like usually my birthday and Matt's birthday right around Hanukkah. I was born on the 5th night of Hanukkah.
I was born on the 4th night,
yeah.
apparently, which is news to me because I never looked it up.
Oh, I know because when I was growing up, the best Hanukkah present I got was always on the 5th night.
Oh, sure.
And so I've been constantly reminded that was when I was born. But so it was like, I think for a while, my favorite food used to be macaroni and cheese, and not that it's not a favorite food still, but like, I don't eat it as regularly. But like for my birthday, I think there was a lot of macaroni and cheese that happened. So that when I think of Hanukkah, that also kind of like just like noodles and dairy. So like kugel for some reason pops into my head as well.
Yeah, kugel's always food.
Yeah.
We've been over this in previous episode. It's always at every holiday except for Passover.
But when I think of Hanukkah food, like it's like mac and cheese as well is part of it for me.
You should do like fried mac and cheese balls this year.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a good idea.
And then share
And
them.
put
Share them
ketchup
with us.
on
You
it.
should deliver them to my house.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. You make latkes, and
Sure.
I'll make fried mac and cheese
we'll
balls.
make that trade. Happily make that trade. Yeah.
At ours, and I did take a little stick from my wife for forgetting this when we talked about, our family traditions and favorite foods back in episode 1, was we had watching the Today Show. This must go 20 odd years ago. There was a chef on who was talking from Morton's, talking about this marinade they use for their steaks. And it was like super simple. We wrote it down, and then one year, it was before our oldest was born. It's probably 17 years ago, maybe. We had all the. I think we'd just moved. It might have been our first. Makes sense. I think it was our first year we were here, first Hanukkah in our house, and we invited all my cousins over, and there was one child among all of us at that time, and we cooked steak in this marinade, a couple of flank steak in this marinade, and it sort of. The joke was, traditional Hanukkah steak, and it's become Hanukkah steak, and so we actually had it recently, just cause it's sort of every time we want to, it's in the rotation of marinades for the steak, but the Hanukkah steak is sort of become,
it's amazing.
It's become
awesome.
tradition,
and
we still love it. It's part of it's definitely part of the holiday tradition for us.
Yeah, my latke stink can't hold up to that.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, steak versus latke versus my whole house smelling like latkes is not. Yeah, I'd rather have it smell like steak.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. I mean, obviously, being in Minnesota, the hardest part is motivating to get out and grill it in December weather.
Yeah.
I mean, I do it because
It's worth it. Tradition, right?
It's the Hanukkah
tradition.
steak.
It's the Hanukkah steak.
Yeah.
Hanukkah steak has to be grilled.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Well, now I feel better that you go grill it outside. I'm going to be sitting there flipping latkes and going, Lonnie's outside in -10, grilling steak.
Yeah, but your eyes are going to burn from all the oil after a while.
I should get goggles. Latke goggles.
Oh, you totally should.
This is going to be great. I'm going to have a whole get-up.
Yeah.
Well, you know how like the
My Darth Vader apron and some latke
you have a Darth
goggles.
Vader apron.
Of course I do.
That's awesome.
I have a Darth Vader spatula, too. It was a gift. I don't know why I keep getting Darth Vader things. Apparently, my family has a certain opinion of me.
Warranted.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
As you're in your black
Right.
black hoodie,
Yeah.
playing the tight maybe. I don't know.
Whatever works.
That's right.
What are your strengths?
How do you guys feel about Gelt of the chocolate variety? Not of the
It was much more fun as a kid.
money.
Actual
Yeah.
coinage variety.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't think I've unveiled this opinion yet on the show.
Uh-huh.
I don't like chocolate.
Wow.
There it is.
Don't like chocolate.
Don't
Don't
like
like cooked
Yep.
fruit.
You got it. I'm a weird food person.
Can't have onions in your latkes at home.
I mean, I don't
Make
really like...
steak
This
for
might be the
Hanukkah.
time you ask, why is it we're doing this food podcast with this clown?
Yeah,
You
because
guys might be-
you're the editor of the things doing it. You know? It's,
You have all the equipment.
yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair. Seems
We
reasonable.
wanted to do it. We had to let
and I
you
was a
in.
willing
Yeah.
participant and producer. Yeah, it's So yeah,
Because I feel like Gelt is... A chocolate Gelt is just such a classic
Yeah.
thing that, as adults, I don't... Especially personally as an adult without kids, I don't ever think about it anymore.
Right.
But it was a constant thing that, I got every year as just part of a gift.
the
or-
little
like an eighth night
the-
gift.
the little,
mesh bag.
the little
Yeah.
yellow mesh
Uh-huh.
bag of guilt.
As a kid, getting that open was just stupidly hard.
Uh-huh.
Pulling that like wire,
Yeah.
like, plastic crap open and then peeling off the foil
Yeah,
was not worth the reward.
yeah.
Like, it is not good chocolate. It's just-
No.
No, but when you're a kid, it's
You didn't care.
A, it's chocolate, B, it's
Yeah.
Hanukkah, and C, do you really care?
No.
No.
No, not at all.
No.
I haven't even given it two thoughts in years.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Until just now.
And that's a wrap on Gelt.
It's more time on guilt than I actually thought we'd spend, to be honest.
Again, it didn't even come up with
Right.
mine, so.
How about you? But you've got a young child, Matt. Is she you giving that to her yet?
No.
Okay.
I don't need a toddler souped up on chocolate.
We're going to take a little break from the three of us so you can hear from somebody who actually knows what they're doing in the kitchen. Zoharit Heilicher, author of the Mideast to Midwest blog and the Instagram feed, the very delicious-looking Instagram feed at Mideast to Midwest. Thank you for joining us on the podcast. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me today.
So one of the things that Matt and Bradley and I were talking about is the idea of Hanukkah as a food holiday. Great foods, but I don't know if it's the Americans in us or if there really is just the sort of two Hanukkah foods, and latkes and sufganiyot. What is that really true, or how do you view the holiday?
Well, I think what's interesting about this holiday is it's an excuse to indulge our love of fried foods. So anything fried goes pretty much this holiday. And yes, I do think that most people recognize latkes and sufganiyot as probably the most well-known holiday foods. But even latkes, there's the American version of latkes is pretty much straight up potatoes, onions, salt, and pepper. Mm-hmm. That's about it. But growing up in Israel, we've had lots of variations on that. My background is Yemenite. My family came to Israel from Yemen.
Okay.
So my mom would make levivot, which is latkes in Hebrew.
Okay.
Levivot. And she would make it with zucchini and carrots and potatoes, cilantro, garlic, all mixed together. And that was the latkes I grew up with.
Whoa.
So it's kind of a vegetable patty in a way. And nowadays in Israel, you can even find things like zucchini, feta, and Parmesan latkes.
That sounds amazing.
I actually taught a class once where we did southwestern latkes. So we made latkes with sweet potatoes and cumin and cilantro, and then did a crema alongside instead of the regular sour cream, but did like a twist on a Mexican crema with chipotle and adobo sauce as a dip for those sweet potatoes with cumin latkes. So I think pretty much your imagination is, your guide in a way. There's an Israeli website, unfortunately only in Hebrew, called Hashulchan, and they provide so many different variations on latkes. There's a leek latke.
Okay.
Obviously, all sorts of vegetables like only carrots. So it's especially if you add some cheese, that helps kind of pull it all together.
So it's like as a binder or as a flavor?
As a binder,
okay.
Yeah. So if you add, for example, grated Parmesan cheese, it kind of crisps up. And think of like frico, making like frico from cheese. So it kind of crisps up, and it's just really delicious.
Why do you think that, though, sort of I guess for most Americans, that's sort of an outside-of-the-box way of looking at the traditional latke. Why do you think that maybe it hasn't caught on quite as much as maybe it has in Israel?
That's a really good question. I've wondered about that myself. I think there's a sense of improvisation that exists in Israel that is not as prominent here in the American Jewish culture.
Okay.
I think there's a sense of holding on to tradition and not compromising the tradition. And because Israel is a place of reinventing oneself, I think there's reinventing of the food as well. But I see, glimpses here, like, we talked about before about people like Michael Solomonov that are really reinventing Israeli food. Ottolenghi does the same thing, looking at Israeli food and things that we take for granted as traditional, but really doing new applications for them.
How much of it is that is it just like there's a different flavor profile that tends to come out or it tends to be brought out in Israeli foods, or different spices that are maybe more native to Israel that haven't made their way over here? Do you think that's some of it as well?
Yes, I think so. I think when I teach cooking classes, and some of the things that I emphasize is use of spices. Most Israelis are very familiar with baharat, ras el hanut, obviously zatar, mafroum. All of those are spice mixes that are used very commonly in Israel, and people here are just getting to know them and just starting to get curious about them. Because the thing about spices, they add so much flavor, so much color and fragrance without really adding any calories. So that's a fantastic bonus.
See, and I think Americans think of, too many Americans, I think of flavor in terms of salt, pepper. And
I agree.
Maybe that's it.
Yes, I agree.
So when it comes to, making latkes, we were talking about your family Hanukkah party that's coming up. How do you make a little bit of a lot of different kinds of latkes to give people sort of a taste maybe of what it was you grew up with in Israel?
I started out doing variety of latkes, and then there was the latke that was kind of voted the one everybody likes the most, and that's what we're making now. And that's kind of a combination of what my mom makes and a twist on that I make. So it's the same potato and onion, but with cilantro and garlic. And I add a dash of baking powder because it helps lighten the interior of the latke. And then we serve it, obviously, with sour cream and applesauce, but I also add a seasoned sour cream to that.
What does cilantro do? I'm not generally a big cilantro fan. In interest of full disclosure, what does cilantro do to the sort of the traditional flavor profile? How does it tweak it, or what does it bring out?
So first of all, you might want to try it because cooked cilantro tastes very differently than fresh cilantro. So it adds this herbaceous note and kind of marries the onion and the potato flavors together and creates sort of a new flavor altogether. It's a little bit more vegetative almost, so it's not so potatoey. It's kind of a really interesting, and then it adds some color to it as well. So you have sort of a greenish golden latke.
And I think the color is important because as good as a latke is, it's not much to look at.
Right. It's not very attractive
kind of
food.
bland.
Yes, I agree. But then, the latke can be just the first in the building block of an appetizer where you can put a little bit of sour cream on top or creme fraiche and a slice of smoked salmon, and you have, a nice really appetizer if you make them really small. I've done that before. So, you can make little latke sandwiches with a filling of your choice, so, play with it.
Sufganiyot. It's just not my food. Jelly donuts. I just like traditional donut. Have those become just sort of Americanized also as just sort of, they just sort of feel like a jelly-filled donut to me. Is there more to them? Are Israeli pastry chefs doing different things with them that maybe haven't made it here yet?
So first, I think it's a misnomer to call sufganiyot donuts because they're not American donuts. They're more the Berliner, which is the European, Austrian, Germanic fried dough. And so that dough is really enriched. Most American donuts are pretty much sugar, yeast, vanilla, flour. That's it. The Israeli sufganiyah is made with brandy, orange zest, or lemon zest. It's a much richer dough. It has more eggs in it. It should be lighter, fluffier, have a lot more flavor. So when people here serve donuts and they call them sufganiyot, I'm like, no, that's sorry.
Here they're jelly donuts.
Right. So in Israel, they're really crispy on the outside and soft and tender on the inside. And as I said, lots and lots of flavor. And yes, people in Israel are doing a variety of new things. I mean, when I was growing up, donuts or sufganiyot started showing up in stores maybe 2 weeks before Hanukkah.
Okay.
Now they're pretty much available year-round.
Really?
And a variety of toppings and fillings. And one of the toppings or filling that is most favorite here is Nutella, obviously.
Oh, sure.
How could you not, and cinnamon sugar, cardamom sugar is really a big hit. It just gives it a really nice, smoky, sweet flavor. And in Israel, you can find a variety of toppings, everything from fruit, as exotic as mango and pineapple, whipped mousses and things like that, to the chocolate and cinnamon and coffee, espresso. It's just incredible.
Wow. That sounds... I mean, it's fascinating. It's nothing... I mean, it's sort of mind-blowing to me because it's nothing that I grew up with here. I mean, it feels like the American sufganiyah is just that. It's been Americanized, almost dumbed down to the jelly donut.
Yes.
And what you described sounds both amazing and I imagine really frustrating because you can't find anything like that.
No, unless I make it myself.
Do you make them yourself?
Yes. Yes, it's this party that I mentioned earlier. When people come in, the sufganiyot are sitting on the counter already rising.
Yeah.
And at the end of the party, we all fry them, and they come out hot, fresh out of the oil, and we dunk them in the cardamom sugar and serve them hot like that. And it's just a really kind of fun tradition that everybody looks forward to, and everybody helps, and everybody knows to be careful around the hot oil. And is it time for the donuts? Is it time for the sufganiyot? Yeah.
And you're just like taunting people almost, watching them to like watch them sit and rise on the counter as they show up.
Yeah, the risk is always, people bring in food, and the risk is always people want to put their food right. They see the covered towels, they think, I've had a few smushed sufganiyot that needed to be rescued. So
that's how people lose their invitation to the high lecture or Hanukkah party.
Exactly. Either that or messing with my rice. So
you don't do that.
Nobody can touch my rice.
Don't touch the...
No. Don't come between a Middle Eastern woman and her rice.
Words to live by.
Yes.
So what other ways do you put, as I mentioned, you grew up in Israel. Mm-hmm. What are some other Israeli Hanukkah traditions that maybe that a lot of Americans maybe don't know about and should? What are some things that you do that you would like to see catch on maybe?
Hanukkah is such a minor holiday in Israel that there isn't many traditions other than, what most people know of, playing the dreidels and that kind of thing. The thing we did more than I think people do here is sing. We used to sing a lot. Okay. A lot of Hanukkah songs. We would light the Hanukkah and then sit around the Hanukkah and sing a lot of Hanukkah songs. So that I do miss that. Yeah. My kids know quite a few Israeli Hanukkah songs, and my son's name is Ethan, and his name is prevalent in one of the Hanukkah songs. Kol echad hu or katan. Each one of us is a small light. V'kulanu or eitan. And all of us together are a strong, vibrant light. So,
it's beautiful.
So we sing that always, and when it comes for his name, we all shout it, Eitan, So that's kind of a fun tradition that we have.
Oh, that's very fun.
Yeah.
Well, excellent. Well, Zahorit Heilicher, MidEastToMidwest.com and at MidEastToMidwest on Instagram. Thank you for joining us, and please share photos of your Hanukkah party, and so we can all drool
Thank you.
Well, I'm sure will be a delicious spread. Thank
Yeah.
you for joining us.
And on the website, I will be posting some Hanukkah recipes. So
Fantastic. So
look for
check
that.
them out, and you can, spice up your own Hanukkah party.
All right. Thank you so much
Thank
for having
you.
me.
Thank you. There's a recipe that's been going around, a grilled cheese on latkes.
Oh, so like latkes for the bread?
Yeah.
It just sounds like a heart attack.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah,
sounds
but like,
great.
yeah.
Well, okay, so you're not against it though.
No.
Just a little afraid for my life
Yeah.
as I get older.
Yeah.
10 years ago, I would have probably made that over and over and over again.
So 20 whatever years ago, when I lived in Michigan and worked at Zingerman's Deli in Ann Arbor, one of the sandwiches on the menu, it is now retired, it was the number 39. It's the good golly Miss Molly, which is 2 latkes, which were thick and large. I mean, they were not small. As the bread for either pastrami or corned beef.
Wow.
I mean, I
Sounds great.
believe
It was
it's good. Yeah.
absolutely incredible. And when I worked there, that was once a week. That was my free employee meal.
Yep.
It was a 39.
Yeah.
Now, I might drop dead of a heart attack mid meal.
This is like that double down sandwich that KFC had where it was like bacon and cheese in between 2 pieces of fried chicken. The best headline that just is perfectly applicable to this was one sandwich to kill them all.
But honestly, if you gave me like, the regular size of a latke,
Yeah,
like
that's
coaster
true.
size, like put some cheese in the middle of those and fried it up, like I'd eat that.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I mean,
enough.
Slathering it in sour cream, is it really that much better? Like healthy,
No.
like less bad for you?
Health-wise, no. Taste-wise, it's something about the cold,
Yeah.
the cold and the sour with the crunch and the savory. It's something in that one bite
Yeah.
that it's a little bit different when you have melty, gooey cheese.
See, I'm totally going to do this now.
Oh,
Because
no,
you brought
I
it
think-
up, like,
And-
this is happening this year, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to justify it to myself that I won't have
Well,
a heart attack.
you know what goes really well with grilled cheese? Ketchup.
And on that note,
What about that 69-cent tomato soup, Brad?
That too. Either one. I think we got a winner.
No, sorry, the $1.19.
All right. I don't. Yeah, that's probably about as good a point as any. Well, happy Hanukkah, everyone. Enjoy your latkes, no matter how you make them.
Just not with ketchup.
Just not with ketchup.
Yeah.
We Won Let's Eat, the Jewish Food Podcast, is produced by Jewfolk Inc. For more information, go to tcjewfolk.com/podcast. You can find us on Instagram at wewon.letseat. You can find Fancy Dinner Club on Instagram at Fancy Dinner Club.